One of the things that I think is most important about a well-built car is the parts underneath that might not be bright and shiny, but the stuff that's really doing the work. And people ask us a lot about springs and suspension and the right choices to make. So I figured we would talk to one of the experts, Mike Eaton with Eaton Detroit Springs, to find out some of the do's and don'ts about building a car project. So right out of the box, Mike, when is the best time to select and install the springs for, say, a muscle car project?
First thing you have to do, Kevin, is decide what suspension you're going to be using, whether it's leaf spring, coil overs, 4 bars, whatever. Once you have that decision made, you start to go ahead building your car. When you get the springs, you got to remember the springs do two things. They provide the cushion of the ride, and they hold up weight. They do also another third thing that people get kind of thrilled about, is it sets the profile of the car.
Well, that's usually number one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, number one. Now, every part that goes on that car equals weight.
Right.
So you can figure out, I'm building, I don't care what kind of car it is, I don't care, a 65 Chevelle, and I'm going to have a big block in it, and I'm going to run fiberglass fenders or whatever. We need all that information because we have to calculate what's this car going to weigh, how much weight's going to have it. Then you install the springs. You don't worry about the final height of the car until the car is about 99.9% complete, because all those parts are weight. Then you want to take that car out and you want to drive it, because the suspension's got to find it's got to set, it's got to settle.
Okay.
And drive it like you stole it. Don't baby it.
Okay.
Drive it hard, hit the brakes, hit the curbs. Just drive it like you're really going to do it in real life. Then you decide whether that car's sitting at the right height or not.
Okay.
And if it's not, you just let us know, and we know what to do to adjust the springs to get it there.
Okay, so the genesis of this question comes in, kind of like you're saying, in the build process, sometimes things change.
Yep.
You know, so is it a good idea to kind of think, okay, I know I'm going to have these parts, I'll order the springs now, or is it better to say, I've got this car 90% built, I know what's on it, now let me order the springs?
Order the springs at the end, tail end.
Okay.
Spring should be one of the last things to do. We do some work for the big three, the Detroit 3 they call it. The very last thing they do is determine what spring's going to be used on that vehicle. We would get calls 2 days before headquarters gave the blessing, go ahead, build that car. We need springs to make that car set like this.
Wow.
Because now it's 2 days before it's finally done. They know what the actual weight is.
Sure, right, exactly.
Yep.
You can't expect a hobbyist to know the weight of every aftermarket or original part he's putting on the car.
No, exactly right. But we have enough background, enough history, enough experience. We've only been in business for 72 years now.
You might have it figured out.
That we can talk to a customer, and if they tell us the car they're working on and what they're doing to that car, and the parts they've changed and the modifications they made, we got about a 97% success rate as the first set of springs we set you are going to work.
Well, I'll tell you this much. It's been probably 10 years, but we got a set of 2-inch drop springs for our 62 Ford from you guys, and that's exactly what it ended up being. It was perfect.
You're honest with us, and you'll get a good set of springs.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, a couple more questions.
Sure.
Spring wire technology. I mean, has anything changed with what these things are made out of, or does the old formula still hold true?
The old formula still holds true. There are some what they're calling high test wire or high tensile wire. You can make the same spring with the same load with less number of coils, but that's a very high stress situation.
Okay.
Is it good? Yeah, it depends on the application, what it's being used for. If you're going to get out there and really beat these things to death, stick with 5160 steel. That's what we use.
How does a guy know if it's time to change the springs as a maintenance operation?
Two things. How does the car set? How does it ride? And is the spring broke? If you got a car that's sitting down low, but the springs aren't broke, and it's riding rough, change the springs. If you get under there and look and you see a broken coil or a broken leaf, change the springs. Nothing can be done to a coil spring to bring it back to life.
Sure.
Things can be done to a leaf spring to bring it back to life, but you better have a car that really is worthwhile spending that kind of money instead of just replacing the springs.
Sure. Okay. So I'm seeing here, and I think these are the ones that we had an issue with in the past. If I'm not mistaken, these are used in first generation Camaro Firebird, the front eyelet leaf spring pocket that bolts to the subframe.
You are correct on that.
Yeah.
It most certainly are. And these are original clips made by the original manufacturer.
So you guys are not just springs, but spring ancillaries and accessories as well.
All the component parts, all the attaching parts. We have the spring clips, the bushings, center bolts, shackles, saddles, axle pads, tip inserts, and this is just a handful of what we have.
Sure. And our experience with these goofy clips is that we're doing a 69 Firebird, and some of them were broken and some of them were missing, and you're not going to find those at a hardware store.
You're not going to find them at a hardware store, and not many aftermarket supply houses have them either. Yes. And I'll guarantee you they will break when you try to take them out. If you got your heart set on trying to save them, it's not going to work. They're going to break.
I mean, because the originals are 40 years old. They're brittle.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yep.
So what's new for me?
The parts.
Okay.
We've always had these parts, but we've done a great job of keeping them secret. And every year we lay the parts out on the bench and say, look, we've got the parts and we sell them. So he says, we got this brainstorm idea. Let's put our name on them. Let's put them on a hang tag.
Market them.
Let the world know that we have them.
Well, those clips are obviously probably a fairly popular item. How obscure does your part inventory get?
How what again?
How obscure? I mean,
obscure?
The weird stuff.
Oh, we go way back.
Yeah,
we go way back. And I don't think we have it out here on the table now, but we have the original C screw shackle for the 30 Chrysler products.
Oh my gosh, for 30 Chrysler stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, again, that's something you're going to see at your big box auto parts store in the corner.
No one's going to have those. No one's going to have them.
All right, well, listen, it's always fascinating to me, there's so much science behind trying to determine a proper spring to get a car to sit the right way. What does somebody do to educate themselves? I mean, your website probably has...
Our website is loaded with technical information, EatonSprings.com. We have tech articles up to yin-yang on them. We want an educated consumer. We like customers being smart. We will educate them on it. We're not worried about teaching them to let them go someplace else. We don't worry about that.
And can somebody call if they've got a question too?
Call if they got a question. We have a forum on our website also. They can post a question. My email's on there. I'm known as the Spring Guru. Email me the question and give me a couple of days. I'll get back to you with an answer.
All right, Mike. Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you for just getting a couple quick answers. I really like the fact that the hard-to-find parts are available. And yeah, you're right. We just didn't know, but now we know.
Very good.
Have a great show,
pleasure,
buddy.
Kevin. Thank you very much.